In 2001, Terry Cook, former editor of Carcraft and Hot Rod magazines, created and launched Deco Rides, a firm that offered fiberglass kit cars. They were 1939 Lincoln Zephyr coupes, convertibles, fastbacks, and sedan deliveries, based on his groundbreaking scrape coupe. That was the first rotter custom in history to set the rocker panels on the ground and start a trend. With an 8-inch chop top, the design for the sedan delivery was a collaboration between Cook and artist Frank Nicholas. What you see here is the second bike-hauling Zephyr sedan delivery Cook had built. In 2010, he had Gary Brown and panel beater Denny Jameson of Indianapolis build a Zephyr delivery carrying a custom Harley Sportster. Brown selected a four-wheel drive mid-90s Chevy S10 Blazer for the chassis. The rear half of the S10 frame, the drive shaft, and the four-wheel drive rear were eliminated to make room for the scooter, converting it to front-wheel drive. That car, the Decoliner, is now on permanent display at the Loman Museum in The Hague, Netherlands, possibly the most prestigious car museum on the planet. The second-generation bike-hauling delivery you see here was built by multi-talented Roger Austin of New Smyrna Beach, Florida. The powertrain was pirated from a 2003 Ford Ranger. Engine is a 4-liter V6 using the automatic transmission and transfer case from the four-wheel drive Ranger. The drive shaft and rear suspension were discarded and replaced with upper and lower control arms, spindles, and hubs from a Lincoln Mark 8. This provided room for a 9-foot sliding ramp to position the motorcycle. It is electrically moved in and out the back door using an electric screw jack. Better known as linear actuators, 3 more are likewise used to open and close the rear and side doors. The butterfly front doors swing up like those from a Lamborghini Countach. Roger Austin not only engineered all the complex moving parts and wiring, he did all the fabrication, bodywork, and paint. He chose hot rod black paint by Medallion. Other creative touches on the car include the use of a 1962 Chrysler Goldfish Bowl instrument cluster. Because the rear visibility is limited, a 5-inch TV screen mounted on the dash links to a small rear vision camera located with the license plate. Airbags mounted front and rear raise and lower the car with the touch of a switch. The car has air conditioning and power windows. Interior for the car was the handiwork of Nick's Creations of Port Orange, Florida. Windshield is a 1990 to 92 Honda Accord, cut by Charlie Scribner of Dedham, Maine to fit. The tasteful 3/4-inch wide half-oval brass trim around the belt line is from Rotex Metals in Brooklyn, New York, and it was chrome-plated by Frankfurt Plating in Philadelphia. The French 39 Ford headlight buckets and French 41 Hudson taillight lenses on the car and bike are a match set. Cook, who proclaims himself to be a wannabe car designer, calls that harmony. It is said all designs are inspired by or are copies of somebody else's previous creations. When it comes to the bike, Cook was inspired by the streamlined computer-generated BMW Orion rendering he found online, created by Turkish designer Mehmet Donik Erdem. Terry wanted a thinner, less bulbous bike than the Orion. Artistically and architecturally, Cook loved the horizontally opposed BMW motor layout rather than the same old Harley V-twin. When he spotted a 1955 BMW R69 750 electric start for sale at the Greenwich Concours, he knew it was fate and grabbed it. Cook reached out to virtuoso designer Larry Erickson of Birmingham, Michigan, to collaborate on the project. Erickson was a former chief designer at Ford on the 2005 Mustang. Previously, he was chief designer at GM, working in the exterior studio on the 1992 Seville and Eldorado. Among others, Pasadena Art Center grad Larry designed ZZ Top's Cadzilla, the matching ZZ Top choppers, and Boyd Coddington's Aluma Coupe. Putting together the right people to make any dream coalesce is the key to forming the right team for an exceptional result. With Cook, design is everything. The bike and the delivery were built with each other in mind. Picking the right panel beater to bang out the aluminum was another crucial decision. Cook called top panel beater Craig Naff in Woodstock, Virginia, who understandably was booked years in advance. Naff recommended virtually unknown Kyle Yoakum of Yoakum's Signature Hot Rods in Sunbury, North Carolina. From experience, Cook advises that picking the wrong panel beater can be a dangerous calamity which should be avoided at all costs. Cook first sent the bike to Michigan. Erickson stripped it to the bare frame and whipped out the styrofoam buck. That's seeing the design in your mind and transplanting it to three-dimensional reality. Truly a quantum leap. The bike and buck were then sent to Kyle. Terry and Larry visited Yoakum's on the outskirts of downtown Nowhere, North Carolina. When they arrived at Yoakum's Signature Hot Rods, they both examined the replica 1965 275 GTB Ferrari that Kyle was completing for Warren Lovell of Florida. It was fantastic and assured them both that they had chosen the right panel beater for the job. Talented pro designers like Erickson or John Caswell are available out there and at very reasonable rates. On the web, it's lerickson32@gmail.com. The resulting bike design was a three-way mind meld of Cook, Erickson, and Yoakum, working together as a team and sharing the design. Not only did Kyle bang out a beautiful body, he engineered and fabricated everything beneath the 3003 aluminum skin, which is 60 thousandths of an inch thick. A smaller diameter front wheel and tire was used because of the limited width inside the narrow nose. Since Cook knew nothing about BMWs, he searched and found airhead whiz David Woodburn of Barnsley Motor Works in downtown Ephesus, Georgia. He romanced everything with a motor and tranny that needed to be fixed. He rebuilt the 750cc engine from scratch with new main bearings, new oversized pistons, and also went through the gearbox. From the start, Cook wanted the bike to be presented in bare metal because he wanted Kyle Yoakum to get the credit for his craft. If the bike had been painted, people would ask, who painted this or what kind of paint is that? In bare metal, people focus on the metal shaping skills of the panel beater. Erickson said Terry Cook, the man who decided the world needed scrape, is one of hot rodding's most innovative creators. From his magazine days to his events and now building customs, Terry always blazes a truly unique trail. In retrospect, Kyle Yoakum says, Larry has been an absolute pleasure to work with. He took Terry's ideas and translated them into a series of sketches along with a buck that helped guide the metal shapes. Terry has been trusting and more than supportive of ideas that Larry and I have presented to create a really beautiful bike. Working with these two professionals has been an honor that I am truly grateful for.